What's up, everybody, man? It's your boy, Mr. Dugai, coming at y'all with another video, man. And today, man, I just want to set the record straight on something, man. About this whole LSU Alabama thing, man. About LSU being called a Cinderella team and all kind of it being a revenge game and all this other nonsense. I just want to set the record straight on and get a lot of stuff off my chest, man. But before I get into this video, man, for everyone, if you want to give me a follow on my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I'm going to have all that information down in the description box. I may not always get a chance to respond to questions and comments on these videos, so feel free to DM me. Come holler at your boy, yo. You know, before I get into this video, man, I want to let all you Alabama fans know something sincerely from the bottom of my heart, yo. I don't like y'all. I can't stand y'all. I respect y'all, but I don't like y'all and I can't stand y'all. And I'm having issues with, you know, Alabama people basically calling LSU a Cinderella team, and one and done, and they're like, this is a revenge game and all this. I just want to just get into all this nonsense, okay? First off, man, we've been called a Cinderella team, one hit wonder, one and done, and all this other stuff, okay? Now, before I even get into all that, I'm going to keep it 100. LSU is not expected to win this game tomorrow. LSU shouldn't win this game tomorrow. I'm going to root for my team. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to hope we pull it off. But I'm not expecting to win tomorrow. Alabama this year is better. They're more experienced. They're better. Okay. First off, with all this Cinderella one and done stuff, I'm not one to make excuses like that. But I mean, we gotta lay out the facts. We gotta lay out everything that about what it really is. Okay. LSU on offense coming into this season, okay? Lloyd Cushenberry is with the Denver Broncos. Guard Damian Lewis is with the Seattle Seahawks. Tackle Sadiq Charles is with the Washington football team. Quarterback Jambalaya Joe Burrow is with the Cincinnati Bengals. Running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire is with the Kansas City Chiefs. Wide receiver Justin Jefferson is with the Minnesota Vikings. Wide receiver Jamar Chase opted out. Wide receiver Terrence Marshall Jr. just opted out this week. Tight end Thaddeus Moss is no longer there. That is 9 starters on offense that's gone. Not to mention Joe Brady, the play call. I mean, they say Steve Ensminger. I give the credit to Joe Brady. Joe Brady won the Brawls Award, okay? Top assistant in the country. He's with the Carolina Panthers. Okay, that's offense. Defense, Clavion Chason, Jacksonville Jaguars. Rashard Lawrence, Arizona Cardinals. Tyler Shelvin opted out. Patrick Queen, Baltimore Ravens. Jacob Phillips, Cleveland Browns. Christian Fulton, Tennessee Titans. Grant Delpit, Cleveland Browns. Kerry Vincent Jr. opted out. That's 8 starters. Okay, 8. LSU lost 17 out of 22 starters. 5 starters returned from last season, though, yo. Then all this nonsense, not to mention Dave Aranda is gone. LSU has to move from a 3-4 to a 4-3 without really having 4-3 personnel like that. Still having 3-4 personnel, okay? Now, everybody, oh, they the national champs. They bad in this and that, the worst national champ. Okay. This has been an unprecedented season. We didn't get spring football with all these young starters and these new offensive and defensive coordinators. And we didn't get to play no cupcakes. We didn't get to play Missouri, Tennessee State, and all that to get our feet wet. We had to jump right into the SEC, yo. unlike any previous national champion had to do. Now, you tell me what team could lose 17 out of 22 starters, lose both the offensive play caller and the defensive play caller, don't have no spring football, and don't get to play a cupcake, and you would expect to come back and really contend like that? You tell me. I get it, Alabama has lost players without over the years. I don't, if my memory serves me correct, I don't remember them losing 17 out of 22 starters and both coordinators in the same year. Yo, Devontae Smith is back. Najee Harris is back. You know, prayers to him, speedy recovery. Jalen Waddle had came back. Mac Jones started 2 big games last year. Dylan Moses back. Patrick Surtain. You know, a couple of other guys from Baton Rouge, Chris Allen, and what's his name? Chris number 8, I forget his name. You know, there's a lot of guys. There's some guys came back for Bama, yo. Plus Steve Sarkisian is back, and what's his name? The D coordinator is back. Yo, you're supposed to be better than us this year. You just are, yo. And this is another thing too. Let me set the record straight on this Cinderella like LSU was some one and done team, okay? Since the year 2000, you know, we're not going into the 90s. We're not going into the 80s and the 70s and 60s. Look, I don't remember all that, okay? Since 2000, yo. Practically, you know what? Let's go 98. 97, let's go 98, yo. When the BCS era started. When it started with the BCS era, which is now today the college football playoff era. Since 1998. Alabama, to their credit, salute to y'all, shout out to y'all, has 5 national championships since then. 5, yo. Shout out to them. Y'all did that. I can't take that from y'all. I hate it, but I can't take that from y'all. You know who was right behind Alabama? LSU has 3. 3 to 5. And you know what the difference is? You see, all this, as dominant as Alabama's been, all is the great Alabama, which they have. I can't take that from them. The difference between LSU and it being 5-3 and LSU being 4-4 with Bama was that 2011, 2012, 21-0 game in New Orleans, yo. That's the only difference between LSU and Bama when it comes to national championships. Now think about that. Bama is dominant. That's all people, when people hear college football, oh, Alabama. But 2011 is when we met head to head is the difference in national championships, yo. And let me tell y'all something about that I need to keep it 100 about. I don't take nothing from what Alabama did us in that game, yo. It was, as an LSU fan, I was out there. I wasn't at the game, but I was in New Orleans on Bourbon Street doing all the festivities and all that while the game was going on. I was there when Alabama was partying on Bourbon and all that, okay? I was there. I don't take nothing from them, man. An absolute dominating performance, a beatdown. That was the most embarrassing time I ever had as an LSU fan. There was talks that if the game was competitive, it would have been a tie, like a shared championship or some nonsense. You know, like this quote-unquote shared championship with USC when we actually played in the game and won, okay? But let me say something about that season. LSU and Bama met in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, yo. Bryant-Denny Stadium, in what was proclaimed the game of the century. This was the biggest game in the history of biggest games, yo. And it was quite clear the winner of this game had the inside track to the national championship. LSU won that game 9-6 in overtime. LSU finished the regular season, won the SEC championship, was undefeated, unblemished, undisputed number one. The Oklahoma State Cowboys had a bad, I think it was a Friday night loss on the road to Iowa State. But besides that loss, that team went on and destroyed Oklahoma in Bedlam, and that team was the Big 12 champions. LSU and Oklahoma State both played that Saturday, that championship Saturday. Because back then, remember, the Big 12 didn't have a conference championship game during those couple of years or whatever. So they played Bedlam the same day LSU dominated Georgia in the SEC championship game. Alabama was sitting home. Alabama still somehow was allowed to play in that national championship game. Alabama had no business being in that game. Alabama should have been in the Sugar Bowl. I'm sorry, why do you get a bye week for losing? Like I say, I take nothing away from what they did LSU on the field. I don't take nothing away from that. But Alabama had no business being in that game. They lost. They blew their chance. This is not like 2017 when there's 4 teams getting in and the other is Georgia, is Oklahoma, SEC champ, Oklahoma Big 12 champ, and Clemson ACC champ, and yet you have a Pac-12 champ who had 2 losses, I want to say, and you had a Big 10 champion in Ohio State with 2 losses, and Alabama had just 1. That's different. It's 4 teams getting in. Alabama only lost 1 time. The other conference champions teams lost twice. So I don't have a problem with Bama making the playoff that year by not playing in the SEC championship. They deserved to make it that year, and they went on beat Georgia in the national championship. But in 2011, 2012, Oklahoma State should have been in that national championship game. They were a conference champion. What if LSU would have went out there? Okay, I know everybody going to focus on what happened in the game, and I get it. But at the same time, let's take that out of the equation here. What if Honey Badger would have got hurt? What if Eric Reed or Kenny Hilliard or Ruben Randall or any of our star players would have gotten injured because they're playing in what turned out to be a meaningless SEC championship game, while Alabama basically got a week off. They got a bye week for losing. So we got to roll out that. We had to play an extra game for winning. This SEC championship game meant nothing at the end of the day. When we talk about 2011, 2012, you think anybody talks about the SEC champion LSU Tigers? No, they talk about the national champion Alabama Crimson Tide. So we had to play in a meaningless SEC championship game while they got to sit home and get a bye week, an extra week to reserve their bodies from physical SEC football, which was an absolute disgrace. They had no business in that national championship game. It should have been LSU versus Oklahoma State. And guess what? Oh, we know LSU would have crushed them. And you know what it would have been? 4-4. LSU has 4 national championships since the BCS era started. Alabama has 4 since the BCS era started. So as dominant as Alabama been, remember, LSU is behind you in national championships by 2. If you would, by the grace of God, they unfairly put y'all in that national championship game when they had no business. Y'all was able to politic your way in there knowing you shouldn't have been in there. You was not playing on championship Saturday. You got in over a team that had just as many losses with a conference championship. So remember that. Before you call LSU the Cinderella team and this one-hit wonder, you're fortunate. You politicked your way into another national championship. You wouldn't have done that. Now, granted, some may say, oh, how you know Oklahoma State wouldn't have beat y'all? Okay, that's fair, though we know that wouldn't have happened. But let's keep it 100. Even if not, it's 4-3. It would have been 4-4. We'd have been tied. As dominant as y'all are every year, as much as we are one-hit wonders all the time, we would have had the same amount of national championships in the last 20 plus years. But y'all, they politicked y'all in there. So y'all got y'all 5. Congrats. Y'all doing y'all thing. But put some respect on our name, man. We have 3. Everybody else has 2, 1, or none. LSU's the only team with 3 in the country. Not in the SEC, in the country. Us and Clemson met head to head for that number 2 spot. And we waxed them. Something y'all couldn't do the year before. And all this revenge game. One more thing. All this is a revenge game. We gonna get our revenge. You get revenge on the people who beat you. Like, okay, unless you want to say it's revenge on Coach O, whatever. He wasn't on the field. Coach O didn't even call no plays. Like, Coach O ain't called no offensive plays. Coach O ain't called no defensive plays. The man who dialed up the plays is gone. The man who was the defensive coordinator is gone. Jambalaya Joe Burrow, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jamar Chase, Terrence Marshall, Thaddeus Moss, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Queen, Grant Delpit, Christian Fulton. All of these guys who made plays on y'all last year is gone. Get over it. The only revenge game it is for Derek Stingley versus Devontae Smith, which Devontae Smith got the best of him last year. That's the only revenge factor in this game. So y'all come on to Death Valley, get you in, because you know you should get you in. Get you in and go try to separate yourself from us. Go try to get your championship. But let me tell y'all something. Lord willing, I don't know what's going on with this case with the program. If everything turns out none of that is true or whatever, guess what? LSU will be back. All these players that's gonna get their butts whipped tomorrow or get played tough tomorrow, they gonna get that experience. They all coming back next year. All of them. So enjoy it. But LSU, pending this case, LSU will be back. Remember that and put respect on our name. We ain't no one-hit wonders, man. We got 3. If y'all didn't get politicked for, it would have been 4-4. But I just had to get that off my chest, man. That's all I got for y'all today, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in, checking out the video. I'm going to have LSU and NCAA content throughout the year. Give me a subscribe. This coming Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to do a live Q&A. Y'all come on there, ask me anything, tell me anything. I answer your questions, respond to your comments, and give you a shout out on the live, yo. Y'all should join me. It'll be some good stuff. I'll tell you then, yo. Y'all have a blessed one. Go Tigers.